Yo! Video games.
What up, dudes, and welcome back to the YoVideogames podcast. I'm Matt.
And I'm Andrew.
And once again, thank you to all our generous patrons who've kept us going for 317 episodes.
Yeah, if you're interested in becoming a patron at any level, please check out patreon.com/YoVideogamespodcast. Dude of the week is Aquilifer.
Thank you, Aquilifer.
Do you know what an Aquilifer is, by the way? I'm sort of shocked that somebody's using this as a screen name.
It sounds like a designer brand of bottled water.
You know what? I'm sure there's some Italian brand. It's the proper name for like a legionary standard, like the eagle, the eagle of the 13th and shit. That's what an Aquilifer is. It's
okay.
It's a military standard or a military symbol.
Nice.
I mean, I'm sure there's probably a better definition, but that is the thing that I remember off the top of my head. And it's fucking crazy that I even remember that. Watch him. It's probably not. That's probably not the right.
Oh, whatever.
It's like it's something else, and fucking someone's like, "Yeah, you're close. You're almost smart."
Oh, you're so close.
So close.
Which means you're genius in America. Anyways,
Killing
New Year is the first podcast of 2022. We can leave 20.
We're gonna start it on an upper.
On an upper, so we're leaving 2021 behind, which was kind of like the sort of the DLC of 2020. Don't know how much longer it's gonna be like that, but as always with New Year's, you want to make some resolutions. Maybe you want to like make some lifestyle changes. I know I definitely would like to do that. I would love to get back to the gym. But
shit's getting weird
considering
here.
we're in the middle of a giant fucking surge, no.
Yeah, what do we have? Like 1 million people now. We crossed 1 million.
At one point, they were thinking it's probably like closer to 1.4 the other day. So that's not happening. But there is one New Year's, self-improvement you can get on board, and that is with the help of our sponsor, Manscaped.
Yeah, how do my lips look? Do I look? I'm wearing the chapstick.
Ooh.
That's right. I'm a chapstick man. I'm not a chapstick man. I forget. I can't.
The lip balm. That is one thing, because Manscaped is not just about trimming the fuzz. It's also about
they're head to toe
lips.
self-care.
Actually one thing I like, and a lot of people really don't know this. They have a body wash.
Yeah,
and it comes with a really big, tall, sturdy pump, so it's like you just like you don't have to sit there and like finagle in the shower, like tilting or whatever. It's like aluminum, so it's
it's not. I actually have it right here. I don't know why I'm pretending I don't. I have the 2 bottles. They're super nice.
Yes, they have shampoo and body wash.
Hey,
smells great. It's got a fresh sort of, I guess, eucalyptusy, sort of outdoorsy, freshy feel.
They call it the intense clean formula. One of the things that I noticed about this, and maybe you've pointed this out before, but the little heart on the Manscaped symbol is just a nutsack.
Yeah, it's a nutsack. So, if you want to resolve to have a nice looking nutsack and a clean smelling bod, you can go to manscaped.com and save 20% off with code YoVG, all caps.
Yeah, and that's worldwide free shipping.
Yeah,
one of the things that I really kind of love about Manscaped, by the way, is I think they're on like Lawnmower 4.0 or something like that.
4.0, yeah.
Yeah, and like it's something that
it has a little flashlight, like a little Tiger Team flashlight for all you Call of Duty fans. It's got a weapons attachment.
Well, yeah. Otherwise, how are you gonna
get the
best
attachment? Me.
you don't want the hair to go from the belly button all the way up to the lower back. You know what I mean? Like a fur thong.
Yeah, you don't want that shit. Happy Trails. I wouldn't even say it's a boomer. That's like our grandfather, your great grandfather's kind of music. But look, Happy Trails to you is not something you want to repeat.
The silent generation, because we keep quiet about that shit. No, but a real New Year's conversation that I had, and it made me realize, like, I'm Manscaped's bitch now, is basically it was like, oh, are you gonna wax your balls this year? And this is had nothing to do with anything. I just stepped in and I was like, well, actually, I don't have to because I got this thing that, it's the lawnmower 4.0 total salesman moment where I was just like, actually, you don't have to wax your balls. It's way more comfortable to just lawn mow that shit.
Yeah. And you can do it in or outside the shower. So, because it's waterproof. Though I feel that's very weird. I mean, some people might like that. I think it's weird to try to because when you get wet, your hair gets all like droopy and heavy. And I'm like, because I actually did want to use it once, and I was like, no, I'll just wait till I get out. And I'll dry off. I'm going to dry off and do it and then rewash.
Yeah, I wouldn't like do it under the running water, but I would, you could take a step back.
Maybe if you're well off and you got like a really big shower, you can step in and you have the space to just kind of like, I'm gonna stand over here and
turn away,
walk. Yeah.
You fancy motherfuckers with your walk-in showers.
Yeah, something like that. So you got that, and then of course one of our personal favorites is the Crop Preserver, Crop Reviver, lotion and spritzes for
Shit's
deodorant for your nuts. And then there's even wipes, the ball wipes. What are they called?
These guys, the Crop Mop.
Crop Mop.
Yeah, keep these. It's a weird place to keep these, but I totally do, and I have used them
on your nuts.
Well, yeah, what you do is if you really got a fart, you just fold it up, put it between your ass cheeks. You go to that meeting, bro. You're
the sweetest smelling fart.
You're gonna be fine.
You're gonna take over that market, which has now been exiled. Of selling your own farts. Now you're gonna sell sweet smelling farts, thanks to Manscapes.
Did you see my response to that, by the way?
I mean, Kenny had like 3 responses or something about that, but
I responded to Kenny. I was like, I hope that lady's farts were fucking demonic smelling.
Yeah, I saw that. And I'm like, yes.
I hope you smell that and die and immediately have to talk to God about why you're there.
So, a cause of death.
I opened this jar of farts from some hot girl and it fucking killed me, dude. I fucked up. I did it in the car, drove off a bridge. I died with an erection, but also my lungs were burning.
Burning lungs, I
actually have a question about that fetish. Like, I know we're not big fans of kink shaming, but my question about that fetish is, do you like pop the jar open and try and jerk off really quick while it whiffs into your face? Or do you just kind of like sniff it a little at a time?
I don't even want to, I really, honestly, I
What's
don't
the
want
science
to think
behind
about
this?
I don't know, but like, that does make me wonder about when you sell shit, when you sell literal shit, that does sort of lead into what we're talking about this week.
Well,
and that is some NFT shit.
If you could blockchain your farts, that's where it's at.
Blockchain your farts. It's don't worry, it's environmentally safe. We'll power it all by methane gas.
Oh fuck. Double down on the environmental unsafeness of the.
That's right.
Environmental damage.
You can create and power your own blockchain with your ass.
So I have kind of I feel like everybody has this question, and most of the people that talk about it, what exactly is an NFT? I know it's blockchain. I know it's crypto. It's non-fungible
token.
Fungible,
which makes it sound like a mushroom or something.
Yeah. Fungible means it can't be faked, right? Or it can't be.
It can't be faked. Well,
yeah,
it basically it's just, hey, here's a digital good, a digital thing you have on a in digital space, but like a crypto coin, we're going to use blockchain and all that verification technology, so you own it. You own a digital good, so
it's verified from multiple angles that it is yours. You own it.
You own this digital good, this digital art, this digital whatever.
Yeah.
So most people know about it from like the shitty monkey art.
Which is it's money laundering. That's what it's. They're basically hiding money in an asset. Yeah, well, that's why art is worth money.
Right. Well, what's weird about because NFTs could kind of just be their own little thing, kind of like whatever. But there's a couple companies that have been really fucking excited and gung ho about jumping right into this deep end, and one of them makes sense. and then one I was kind of a little surprised by. But the one that makes sense and the one that everyone fucking forgot about because they've kind of responded to it, both the announcement and sort of response to the backlash, was Ubisoft. And Ubisoft has this weird fucking ability to like be a big piece of shit and then somehow get people to collectively kind of fucking forget about it entirely within a week. Kind of like anything
The French?
that is, kind of like anything that isn't Assassin's Creed or Rainbow Six, like any of their other games, like how everyone kind of forgets that they came out, like Far Cry 6 or whatever. It works that way with controversies in that company too. Like they do something shitty comes out or gets known about them, and then they just and then it's just fucking forgotten about in a month or less. So Yves Guillemot was
French.
all in. He was all in on NFT shit, which is no surprise for Ubisoft because they're as greedy, schemy as any of the other big three of them, Activision and EA. So he was all in on it, and there was a huge amount of backlash. They already tried to implement it. I forget what game, Breakpoint, I think, Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
Oh, and, that was on sale recently.
Yeah, and apparently the NFT sales within the game were super dismal. No one was fucking interested in it. And he basically responded to the backlash by saying, like, and this is how he's approaching it. It's like, there's going to be a little hesitancy. People are going to complain, but you know what? It'll become commonplace and accepted, just like microtransactions. And wow, there's your great defense. Like, yeah, you might bitch about it now, but don't worry, you're gonna be all in on it, just like you were on microtransactions.
Because you won't have a choice.
It's almost like a dare. It's almost like a dare to like, yeah, I dare you to like fucking like try to stand up to this. We're gonna fucking make this happen, and you're gonna eat it, and everyone's gonna take a bite, and you're all gonna like it.
I almost don't want to say this because I know it's exactly how it's gonna go. But the way they'll make NFTs work is in a game like Warzone, where they'll release 50 of this costume, and like only those 50 people that buy it will have that costume, and then you can like you can trade it or sell it or whatever, and it's an asset, and so it'll be collector's edition. Is that already happening? That's why you're making that face. It's already happening.
Not in that game, but I'm just thinking about the fact that like they charge $25, $30 for cosmetics.
Yeah, and then
in Warzone, and I see people buy it all the goddamn time.
And then if you want to sell that costume,
Rambo and Bruce Willis sold like crazy. Fucking Ghostface is everywhere in that game. So it's like, and people buy it. I'm like sitting there. I'm like, oh, that's cool. They're gonna release this thing. And then I'm like, how much is it? Oh, it's $25 or $30. I'm like, fuck that.
Go fuck yourself.
You're gonna spend $25 on like a wonky ass like skin for a character in a first person shooter game, so you can only see it if when you win maybe or when you load in. And yeah, people do it. They spend $25 fucking willy fucking nilly.
When
like
you say
crazy.
People, how many adults do you think are doing it? Because I actually think it's a lot of adults. Yeah,
many.
A lot of people like to make that joke that it's like, oh, it's kids taking their parents' credit card, but I actually think it's loads of adults.
That does happen, but I see many adults buying into these $25+ fucking things. I'm like, oh my fucking god! Like, I don't get it. Like, on the one hand, the game's free, which is great because then you're not giving money to a shitty company like Activision. But then people use that as like, well, then I'll spend $10 here, $10 there, for this battle pass or this character, this bundle, or this,
as
this
long
player
as I don't
skin.
go over 60, it's fine.
And it's like, we know from leaks that Indiana Jones and Captain America is coming to the game, and I'm like, man, I just no. Like, one, giving money to Activision, but two, it's like it's $25 fucking for skin, and just the amount of people that just jump right in. So yes, if they do that with NFTs and say we're going to have 50 or 100 only, and then we're going to create this literal like eBay within the game, their own auction house, because Diablo's done that for fucking decades.
Forever.
They're going to they're going to have an auction house now where people are going to sell their NFT skins and guns and whatever, and people are going to go in on it. They're like, well, it's just bad, but it's really fucking cool. I really want it.
Yeah, and how they, how they'll be real dicks. And you won't be able to sell it for real money. you'll only be able to get in-game currency with it. So you'll buy the currency with money, and then that money's gone. And so when you have to buy something really expensive, you have to buy more useless currency to
More
buy
useless
blockchain.
currency. Right. God.
It's
And the
worth
thing is, like,
$25,000 in COD
look, I don't
bucks.
look. I don't know. I don't like telling people, how they should or shouldn't spend their money. It feels a little weird to say. I don't. But Jesus Christ, $25 for a shitty looking Rambo, like, come on. And then if it is something like NFT
Yeah,
based,
if it brings you joy.
it's going to be significantly higher dollar amounts when it's going to get into this. People are going to be spending hundreds, thousands, tens, hundreds of thousands of dollars potentially, depending on the rarity of the object. So
if you spend hundreds of dollars on a skin for a game that will not be around in 5 years, you're a fucking idiot, and you deserve to be milked for your money. I'm sorry. I don't give a shit.
But, like, on the other hand, I don't think Activision or whoever especially should be getting that money, though. Like, they shouldn't be profiting off of this. They shouldn't be rewarded for their this literal pyramid scheming.
Yeah, but the world runs on taking advantage of stupid people or people in their stupidest moments.
Yeah, but, like,
some people are
it's
stupid all the time.
Yeah, but it's watching the bad guys win. If they're in that scenario you come off of, where, like, they convince someone who really doesn't have the money to spend tens of thousands of dollars on something that won't even be active in a couple years, and they just got away with it scot-free. It's like, that's
I would agree that there's predatory stuff there that we could totally look at and say, hey, they shouldn't be able to prey on people. But at the same time, again, if you spend that kind of money on a digital asset that, it's not going to actually return any value, you weren't taken advantage of. You're an idiot.
I mean, it can obviously be both.
I guess, yeah, but, like, you don't say a shark takes advantage of an idiot swimming in in the middle of chum. like, oh, I dumped chum in the water. Guess I'll go for a swim. Oh, I got bit by a shark. That fucking shark is such an asshole predator. Yeah, the shark bit you, but jumped in a water full of chum. You're an idiot. I don't know. I'm by no means do I want Activision to win or anything like that. I haven't played Warzone since we heard about all the bullshit happening in Activision. I stopped. I'm done. But that's not to say that, like, them taking money from stupid people, that's just how capitalism works. That's how every monetary system works. Mercantilism, monarchism. There's literally no form of economics that doesn't involve taking money from stupid people.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think taking money from stupid people is a hand wave gesture. Like, it's because these people are not doing anything positive with this money. They're fucking sitting on it for the most part, or they're burning it in all these other ways. And here's the other thing that we haven't really talked about at all here, is that, you can hand wave this away by saying, like, yeah, you're an idiot, and a stupid person got ripped off. What you fucking do? I can go on with my life. I'm like, well, you've now contributed to the worsening of the climate, because here's the real kicker of all this thing. It's not just a pyramid scheme. It's literally burning the planet down.
Yeah,
because
to make something
that's blockchain means you have to do something that requires, like, 3 days worth of a house's power just to verify it. So
where are all the graphics cards? Cut to warehouse, just row upon row upon row.
It's causing shortages. It's causing massive power consumption. It's causing all kinds of climate damage. So it's like, this thing is literally burning our planet. And it's like, I'm sorry if it's okay that dumb people, get ripped off for some people, but it's like, I'd also like to breathe.
I mean, that's two separate issues, though. I'm not saying that, like...
Well, not really, because one fuels the other. One literally using NFT causes massive power consumption, which causes all kinds of climate problems. We're not moving towards, this all nuclear future, or this all solar, wind future. Like, we're not there yet. We're still burning up the atmosphere to literally power our power grids. Like, Texans, some people in Texas might have a lot to say about that.
Yeah, but, like, NFTs being bad for one reason doesn't make somebody purely evil for selling something dumb to a dumb person. Is all I'm saying. Like,
I mean,
if you're
if
dumb
you
enough
just
to spend money on a costume, hundreds of dollars on an NFT costume, yeah, I mean, someone was going to get your money. It wasn't staying in your pocket.
yeah, but at least it didn't have to fucking affect the rest of the fucking planet. So,
Yeah, but
and that's why I'm happy. I'm actually very happy. The response to this so far has been just completely vile and angry. Like
on
no one is
Twitter.
on everywhere really. Like it's kind of interesting. It's kind of nice to see how, generally speaking, the entire gaming spectrum for the most part is like completely against this shit. One, because even if you don't care about the environment, and let's face it, many people don't. These are not cheap. This is not going to be a cheap thing. This is like microtransactions, but like really fucking expensive.
And they only get more expensive is the
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, and they only get more expensive. So no one's really happy. No one's happy about that. No one's happy about like, what it might actually do to their, anyone who pays an actual electric bill. So it's kind of like, yeah, no, I'm happy to see nobody's on board with this idea. It's also a very naked, open, attempt to just be, like you said, a pyramid scheme. It reminds me a lot of that controversy that happened over the summer where someone sold a boxed copy of Super Mario 64. Okay, Super Mario 64, not a rare fucking game, but they sold it for $1.5 million, which blew away, what the previous most expensive, rarest game, boxed copy game ever was before that. So, and yeah, everyone who was even remotely connected to this whole industry kind of like raised their eyebrow and went, "What? How? Why?"
Money laundering.
And it's like, well, laundering, or just the fact that's like, you convince someone that something is rare or valuable, even if it's not. You just need to get one sucker in on it.
Well,
so you then drain someone of $1.5 million for something that's nowhere near worth that $1.5 million. Doesn't matter. Fuck you, got mine. So
it's worth $1.5 million now.
I guess, kind of. So I think the idea with the NFTs is the same thing, where it's just like, look, I'm going to make a digital good, something that has no physical existence in the world whatsoever. But I'm literally creating an artificial scarcity for this. So people will basically be beating each other, virtually, to cut in line, to get in, to get this object. I just need one dumb person to believe me.
Well, it's just the diamond industry digitally. More.
Absolutely.
Digital diamonds.
Yeah, digital diamonds. Yeah, that's basically what we're talking about here. So, and everyone kind of sees that. Everyone can see it and see what it is. So I'm kind of happy to see how everyone is just super fucking against it. And I seeing what happened with Ghost Recon Breakpoint, it made like $13 or something in the first month.
No shit.
Yeah, it was like it was some incredibly, like, oh my god, these, like, there was like a handful of objects sold, and they sold for like pennies. So it was like, man,
that's rough.
And that's in the gaming sector. There are other NFTs, but a lot of people have been saying like a lot of the NFT sales have mostly been a very tiny margin of very rich investors who are basically just trying to like
kickstart it. Yeah,
kickstart it, like flow it around, like create, try to convince people there's demand or whatever. So
this is a thing in startup investing and angel investing and stuff. What those investors are doing is they're trying to kickstart it so that they can cash out and leave the normal public holding the bag. Yeah, the normal public being like the wide audience who adopts this thing. This happens in startups all the fucking time. It's one of the worst parts of like investing in startups in general. Is all these ground floor millionaires and billionaires spend as much money as possible to hold out for as long as possible, not on a good company. They don't care if the company's good. They're just trying to get you to buy in enough so that they can cash out, like, Uber. That's what's going on with Uber.
Or kind of what happened with that GameStop stock thing, the pump and dump or whatever, so it's like, woof. But yeah, and what kind of made this blow up even harder was there was this extremely long letter that was published publicly. I can't believe it was publicly published by Square Enix's president. Now, here's the surprising part. Remember how I said there were two companies and one I was surprised by?
Yeah.
I was surprised to see a Japanese company be so gung-ho in a completely brand new birthed technology. Because traditionally, other than Sega, a lot of them are very wait and see on it, which I feel is the more, prudent or more, financially secure method, is just seeing like, okay, this sounds cool. Let's see how the market plays out. Now, this guy is fucking all in, for whatever fucking reason. But, and
Inflation.
his letter was just riddled with insanity, because like it doesn't read like something that should be public at all. It reads like something that should be shared only amongst the shareholders, or like, certain people like within the board
Your
or something.
sycophants.
Yeah, like I don't know why they thought this was going to be okay for. I mean, I'm glad it is, because it kind of like, okay, show his ass, but I mean. But like, there's, I mean, we're not going to read the whole letter, but like, the choice excerpts are great here, because he's like, one of them is, I realize that some people who quote unquote play to have fun and who currently form the majority of the players and have voiced their reservations toward these new trends, and understandably so. Like what? Like some people play to have fun. Like, oh, I know some of you just play video games to have fun.
What are the other fucking people doing?
You're right.
There are people like my brother who are just perennially mad at the game.
However, I believe that there will be a certain number of people whose motivation is to play to contribute, by which I mean to help make the game more exciting. Why he's extolling the virtues of NFTs. Play to contribute.
Oh.
Traditional gaming has offered no explicit incentive to this latter group of people, who are motivated strictly by such inconsistent personal feelings as goodwill and volunteer spirit.
This dude sounds like a fucking villain.
Right? Like
he sounds like a comic book villain. What is the game plan here? I'm gonna have to read this now.
Yeah, I'm
gonna have to read the whole thing just to get
says,
context.
I see this as one reason, like the whole user, free will, goodwill and whatever. I see this as one reason that there haven't been as many major game-changing content that were user-generated as one would expect. Basically saying like, I don't like, we're not seeing as much user-generated, economy, because they're not getting paid for it. However, with advances in token economies, users will be provided with explicit incentives, thereby resulting not only in a greater consistency in their motivation, but also creating a tangible upside to their creative efforts. And a lot of that gobbledygook means is basically like, there's this. I've heard about how like this generation is way more into the the donating and the charity, the charitable side and the philanthropic side of things, which is true. Obviously, we have a Patreon and as well. But he's saying like there's not enough incentive, to monetize goodwill of players and people who just play games to have fun. We want to have a user-generated experience, but we're going to push their motivation with a token economy, thereby giving them more explicit incentive and motivation to create new user-generated content that we can then sell and take a part of.
So like modding and like fan shit, is that the idea?
By designing viable token economies into our games, we will enable self-sustaining game growth. I think what he's talking about here is basically this. Like, let's say like you create like an armor set or a hat, or a weapon. And then you can, I would imagine there's going to be some sort of submission process to them. They will then turn it into an NFT, and then you will then be able to sell that NFT for any amount of money. Good luck. We're going to get 50%, 60%, 75% of whatever this thing you created is, which is, it's funny because it's starting to sound a lot like Roblox in a way.
I mean, Roblox is kind of the starting point for this idea, right?
Yeah, in a way. If we refer to the one-way,
Hmm.
he goes on to say other things such as if we refer to the one-way relationship where game players and game providers are linked by games that are finished products as centralized gaming, to contrast it with decentralized gaming. Then incorporating, decentralized games into our portfolio, in addition to centralized games, will be a major strategic theme for us starting in 2022. He's saying is he doesn't want to sell you a finished game. He wants to sell you a game that will continue to have content added to it, not by them, but by you. And then,
They'll just collect money.
and they'll collect money. It's funny how he tries to like relabel it. So it's like a finished product. If we consider a finished product as centralized gaming, it's like, oh, you mean you make a game, you finish it, we buy it, you sell it, we buy it. Like, yeah, that's old school style. We want to contrast it with decentralized gaming or unfinished games, and incorporate that into our portfolio.
The world just keeps getting shittier.
So
like, I mean, yeah, things are pretty good. We have it better than anyone has ever had it in any point in time, really. Health, fucking wealth, whatever. We have it better than basically any human at any point in time. But every idea that these assholes has just keeps getting worse. Right now, we make a product that millions of people love. Let's ruin that.
Let's ruin that.
And we might make a little more money.
I don't like the fact that we just make a product and then we sell that product and then it's gone. Let me boil it down. Like, let me tell you what he's really saying here. I don't like the fact that we sell you something and then we don't get to make any more money off of it. I want to sell you something and then I want to make money off of you using my product.
This is just the Japanese companies hating used games all over again.
Yeah. It's like I'm not happy with just selling you an object. I want you to use that object to make me some money, and I'll give you a cut as well. Because I'm a fair, generous person or whatever. So yeah, this is the head of Square Enix. This is what he wants to do.
Wild.
And it is really wild because they're having such incredible success with 14 right now. And that new expansion that just came out, everyone fucking loves it. And the guy running it seems like a really cool dude. Seems like a really great guy. And it is a subscription-based service. It's a live service. It's an MMO. It's like the original live service video game.
Yeah. And as long as they keep adding new shit to it.
And they're adding new shit and they're sustaining, they're growing the game, they're growing their player base, everything's going well. And someone pointed out, it's funny because like they're having all these server issues because they literally cannot buy new servers. They wanted to buy new servers, but they literally didn't exist. And part of the reason they didn't exist, guess what?
All the CPUs are being used for crypto mining.
Crypto mining. So the very thing this motherfucker wants to dive headfirst in is the very thing that's actually preventing him from selling more copies of 14 right now.
Fuck.
Like, he could be making more money if there wasn't all this crypto mining going on. But he's like, of course, the takeaway here is not like, hey, this seems like a really weird, this seems like a really harmful, dangerous, flash in the pan that's actually actively destructing the environment. No, it's like, I want to make all the money too. Fuck them. Like, I want to have all the crypto mining for myself.
An interesting thing that I had heard, somebody had basically said this once, and I was like, that's kind of interesting. Crypto is really popular with people who are either really, really afraid of inflation, like really afraid of like money not meaning anything anymore, or cultures
so they help contribute to it.
Yeah, or cultures that like their money experienced recently a shitload of inflation. So like crypto is apparently very popular in places like Argentina, Japan, Venezuela, shit like that, where like the currency is all over the place and sort of unreliable. Yeah. Like, I mean, the yen is stable now, but I guess it's dealt with a shitload of inflation in the past because of the 80s bubbles and stuff. So I guess it kind of makes sense that they're looking for a stable currency that is not controlled by a central government. I guess that makes sense.
I mean, I get it, especially if you live, you know, I've seen documentaries and just sort of like travel logs of people who go to South American countries, and you see how incredibly fucked up the economy can
Yeah.
be there, you know, with prices and what that's done. And so I can almost see them going like, shit, like anything's got to be more stable than ours. But and I find that hilarious because like I think I was watching something on Brazil about that, you know, where a guy went into like there was like a whole row of like fast food restaurants, right? And they're all empty and completely empty because the prices were so incredibly high. Nobody could afford a Burger King burger, right? And it makes me wonder. I'm like, man, you know, you really should, you know, imagine going onto a gold standard. And then I'm like, and Brazil bought a lot of the world's gold the last few years. Like Brazil was stocking up on it. So it's kind
Really?
of funny, and yeah, and it's weird in a way that you know, I'm guessing, I don't know, actually I don't know Brazilian economics, but it's like I do know the company was buying a shit ton of gold, or the country.
I mean, most countries are just companies now.
This point.
These
Yet
fucking days.
I'm gonna imagine, much like the United States, we don't have a gold standard any longer.
But we
So
do
that's
have a
why
massive gold reserve.
we do. We do, but
I think it's
here's
the largest in the
little
world. Right?
history lesson for people. Like people don't really know what I'm talking about, and that is in the early, I think it's early 70s,
70s,
under
yeah.
under Nixon, we went off the gold standard, which means that a dollar bill no longer technically has a 1-to-1 link in value to a certain amount of gold.
Yeah, it doesn't not to a physical asset.
Right.
Like it is no
So
longer it's no longer like a tender that you can exchange for something physical.
yeah, so it's practically it's just funny money at that point. So going off the gold standard, there were reasons they did it, but yeah, when you don't have a gold standard, you end up getting in this thing where like people just start creating their own value. And that's the scariest thing about crypto and NFTs, and sort of just try to keep it gaming focused here. You know, the idea that it's like, here's gonna be, you know, like take something like Skyrim, you know, for example, and how it's so modder driven because Bethesda doesn't finish their own games.
Oof.
But like the idea that it's like, okay, I'm gonna create this armor set or this shield. Let's just keep it really simple. I'm gonna create a shield design, and I can't, you know, it's like you don't share that with people. And it's not even like I'm going to create a shield design, Bethesda's going to put it on the market, and then it's going to sell for, you know, 25 cents to anyone who buys it. Because in a normal video game, there is no actual end game limit to getting an item. Like there's like, you know, in game might say like, yo, you can only hold so many of whatever, but it's like theoretically speaking, is you can buy an object in game, sell the object in game, buy the same object, buy it, sell it, you know, forever. Yeah. You're never gonna like literally physically run out of shields in a video game. So, you know, the idea, and I know Bethesda dabbled in this a little bit with, you know, paying modders out, you know, some monetary value gain, and there was a lot of pushback and sort of like, you know, side eyeing to how they did that, how they went about doing that. But like this to me is like, it's a step worse because it's like this guy designs a shield, and now Bethesda's decided to put it as part, you know, put it into the blockchain. So we're only going to make 10 of them. Yeah. And then we're going to basically try to get people to spend extra amounts of real world dollars to buy one of these 10 shields. And we're going to try to drive up the market value on them, even though it's just an in-game item with a shield this guy drew. And then Bethesda's going to get a big old cut of the profits. I actually think, if I remember right, I think Phil Spencer said he was basically wary about NFTs. I think he's been the one lone person who's like, I don't know about that. We're not incorporating that into our marketplace.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the whole Phil is based meme, right? Yeah. Where it's like he's been on the right side of every single thing so far.
Yeah, and for him, you know, because I just signed up for Game Pass.
Phil is based
S now. Merry Christmas to me. But it's like, yeah,
Hey.
Game Pass is it. You know, we said it over and over. Now I actually have it. But it's like, yes, Game Pass is absolutely the best fucking value in video gaming right now.
Yeah, I've had it for a month or two now.
Yeah, I don't technically physically own these games because the minute I stop subscribing, I can't play them anymore. But you know, I've spent $1 on it so far, and that was funny to see on my bill, $1. It's like for the first month.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, this is like just it's fine because it's like for now. And the one thing that and the only thing that I sort of will give credit to Phil and Microsoft is that they are actually big on preservation. Like they do have original Xbox games and 360 games, and they're actually Phil has expressed concern about game preservation and wanting to preserve games. The only thing that kind of sucks about the Series S is that there's no drive on it. So
all digital, yeah.
There are certain games that I can't play or download because of licensing issues or whatever. And they're like, well, it's like you'll see, I'll say it's compatible, but it's not available for sale. And it's like,
my only complaint about Game Pass is that the UI on PC, the Xbox app companion, it's the biggest piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why no one but Steam can make a fucking app worth a damn. I don't know what Steam patented or copyrighted, you know? I don't know what they did, but for some reason, all these billion-dollar companies can't make a fucking web app for shit.
At least, though, with Game Pass, it's just kind of like, oh, cool. I'll check that out. Or like someone recommends you something, and you're like, you know, because most of the time someone recommends a video game costs anywhere from $20 to $60. You know, it's going to take a whole lot of convincing, you know, for you to plop down that money. And then it's like, hey, this is on Game Pass. Okay.
Yeah, well, I knew I should have waited. I bought Mass Effect Legendary Edition on Steam sale for the winter sale. I was like, oh, why not?
I think I bought it on PS5.
Yeah, it's on fucking Game Pass now. And I'm like, damn it. That's great. That's great, Game Pass, but also, fuck you. So I just installed it.
Well, I was looking at stuff last night, and like one of the games coming out this year is Star Ocean 6. And I was like, oh, it was announced at Sony. Is this Sony exclusive? And like, no, it's multi-plat. It's on Xbox, you know, Series S and X and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, oh, excellent. I'll just wait for Game Pass.
Nice.
And I'm like, it's probably not going to come out. It's obviously not going to probably come out day one on Game Pass because it's third party. But I'm like, oh, that's absolutely a game that's going to show up on Game Pass.
Eventually,
there's a lot of Square Enix titles kind of float their way there. Like they have 10, 10-2, 12. 13 and 13.2 are on it.
Yeah.
No 15, but that's probably because Sony is offering Final Fantasy 15 for free on PS5 if you do PSN on PS5. So probably some Netflix versus HBO Max bullshit going on there.
What are they calling their Game Pass? What is Sony calling?
They have a code name for it right now, and I forgot the code name off the top of my head.
Yeah, I forgot too.
But yeah, it's not the official name.
Something that I'm surprised is not on Game Pass is that game GTFO. I finally played it. I had a great time with it. Its
codename is Spartacus. Wow. Okay. Yeah, Sony's got a codename Spartacus, and they're like yeah, they're planning or testing, and I'm just like, what's there to even test? It's literally just you have a subscription service, meaning you have
the game.
Just download the game. Like
maybe they're trying to do cloud gaming. That's what NFT gaming is going to go. It's going to go the direction of cloud gaming. I don't know if you noticed, but one of the nicest things about Game Pass too is that like everyone talked a big game about Forza Horizon 5, and I was like, oh, let me check it out. 100 and some gigs, right? Mm-hmm.
It was like more than Call of Duty, and I was like, holy shit! And I'm like, but then they're like, hey, play it on the cloud. So there's this thing on Game Pass where you can literally like Stadia, you know, or Luna, you know, for anyone who knows what that is.
Amazon.
You literally can go through the xCloud on Game Pass for like those really big games. If you're not sure, right, you can literally just boot it up immediately and play it on a cloud-based server just to see how you feel about it.
That is super cool.
Like,
how does it run?
I don't know. I haven't tested it yet. I'll probably test it this week.
If you have gigabit internet, cloud gaming is actually pretty fucking solid.
Well, I do. So.
Yeah, so you might not have any problems at all, depending on how far away the server is.
Or exactly. So I was like looking at that. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my god, it's so big. And they're like, oh, it's also not every game on Game Pass does this, but a lot of games are like, yeah, you could play it on the cloud if you
Yeah.
don't want to download it. If you don't want to wait or take up your hard drive, you can just download it on the cloud. You could play it off the cloud. And I was like, huh.
That's the fucking future.
And Microsoft will have the infrastructure for that. So I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm very impressed. I'm really impressed with the size of the S. This is so goddamn tiny. And I mean, you got a PS5, but like, it's funny how much of like just like a smush together like pieces, pain in the ass to get the PS5 out of the boxes.
Yeah.
And then like the way Microsoft does their series, it's literally like you have these pull tabs, big stickers that have like tabs on them. So you pull them off, then you open it up, and it's like it's finagled in a way where it's just like on a platform, like, oh, ready to go. Like
That's
you flip open the box, and it's just sitting there lifted up, like nestled, like just ready to play for you, sir.
yeah, I haven't played anything on my PS5 since Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut. Like I've been playing
It's a
PC.
minor thing. It's a minor thing, but it's also kind of like incredible how it's like, wait, really? Gosh, it's plugged in over there. I would actually show you just how physically small this fucking thing is, but
Apple has an entire design team just to the experience of opening its boxes, because the whole idea.
Oh, is that where it came from? Okay.
Yeah, well, they are the people who started this trend. Basically, the idea that they wanted is they wanted the experience of opening the box to make you love the product, like to have an immediately good feeling about the product, but also they wanted you to feel bad about throwing away the box. And so if you use any Apple boxes or Apple boxes, if you have used any Apple products, one of the first things you'll notice is you might have a subconscious feeling against getting rid of the boxes. And they design that shit specifically to do that.
Man, it works.
It does. Yeah, it works. It works. I have every goddamn phone box from Apple that I've ever gotten. They're somewhere anyway.
Yeah, they're on top of it there. Like, the PS5 is it's to me it's not a mudslinging thing. It's still a great system. It's fucking big. It looks like fucking Kaiba's jacket and
yeah.
Whatever.
Evil anime stepbrother.
I'm telling you, man, like most people are kind of just like me and just like, yeah, there's not really much on Xbox. And you go through the Game Pass and I kind of look on there and I go, you know what it is still hurting from? It's still hurting from like a real lack of Japanese gaming content. Like there's basically Yakuza's and then kind of like some of the older Square Enix stuff. Like I would say hand me down Square Enix. And that's kind of it. Like
I don't know how they solve that though. Unless they buy somebody that's good.
Right? Buy someone, because it's going to be very hard. Like they have RE7 on there, but none of the other REs. So it's one of those things where I'm like, I don't know, you're just gonna have to like really go out there and convince all the other Japanese game devs that this is worth it. And that's probably not going to be easy because they have no presence in Japan. But on the other hand, it's like there's no Sony presence there either. Sony's dead in Japan. Like really, truly, honestly dead.
Well, consoles in general, right? Consoles are having a really rough time. Except the Switch.
For multiple, if you take away mobile, you take mobile out of the equation, and you look at what is the console market in Japan in December, it was 98% Nintendo Switch. Like, it's dead.
Yeah, they're never going to update the Nintendo Switch so long as that's happening.
I know. Then that's the saddest part. Is like, man, well, Nintendo's doing so well, and I'm like, that's not necessarily a great thing, because there were multiple weeks in December where the top 30, not 10, not 15, top 30 software sales were all Switch games.
That's amazing.
And we only, I don't even know how much further down the list it went from that, but like the top 30 for multiple weeks in December were only on Switch.
You think Nintendo's going to start doing NFT shit? I feel like they're the ones that could make it happen. Like, could actually make it work.
Under the new president, it's really hard to say because Furukawa is a business guy. He comes from finances, and I've been scared about that for years. Like nothing like super egregious has happened yet, but like for years, I'm like, man, he's not a Wada. Kimishima was not a Wada, and he kind of knew that, but he was only there temporarily for a year. And Furukawa to me is just kind of like, or I'm sorry, Fukushima. I'm getting it mixed up with Minoru Arakawa from NOA, but like, yeah,
You know what's going to be is
Shintaro Fukushima to me is this kind of like, I don't know, man. I mean, it's like, well, his background's in finances and this and that. And I'm like, I don't know, man.
the Pokemon company will be.
Oh, they're greedy fucks.
Yeah, they're gonna be the ones that go for it too. Yeah,
I feel they're gonna do it first. I think we're gonna see Pokemon NFTs,
and then
eventually.
Nintendo. Yeah, and then Nintendo will be like, "Wow, Pokemon NFTs are doing great.
Yeah,
I guess
and
we're gonna do it."
I think Nintendo will dip their toe not in gaming, but in other means, like mobile means or something. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
I think they're gonna.
Happening.
I think they're gonna be a little hesitant on the on like the eShop, the digital eShop front for Switch games. I think they're going to be a little hesitant on that, but I think they are going to maybe try to sell some NFT goods. They're going to dip their toe, maybe not this year, maybe next year or whatever. But I think Nintendo's, knowing how reserved they are with everything, especially internet, I think Pokemon Company's absolutely going to do it first, and I think Nintendo will dip their toe in NFT digital goods, not necessarily in-game objects, but like as like a sort of addendum or something, so something you can buy on mobile or something, some other means. So,
well, on as final thoughts, like positive note, is there an upside at all to NFTs in gaming or crypto and gaming in general?
The only upside is if they fail miserably and cause these companies to lose a shit ton of money.
I was thinking in a game like GTA 5 or in like a game like 14.
The only way an NFT, and they've done this has existed before, the only NFT that should exist is, say, if you do it where like someone is given a gift from the developer, like an exclusive wedding ring or an exclusive sword, like kind of like how they did for like Warcraft and South Park and shit like that. Like, this one object, we're going to give this to someone, as a wedding gift or as a, whatever thing, like if Square put an NFT into 14, it would be some special object given to the, Yoshi P's account. It'll be gifted to him and he's the only one who has it. But you don't even need NFT for that. That can literally just be the only object in the game. People can always cheat and hack and copy it, but like people,
the NFT would come
NFTs.
Yeah, well, the only reason an NFT would be used in a game like that is so you could resell it.
That's the problem, is that the only reason an NFT exists is for resale value, is to eBay, in-game eBay that shit.
Yeah, to verify resale value, yeah.
Yeah, you want to exactly. Verify your resale. Like they want to make the auction house worse than it's ever been.
Yeah, there's like 2 or 3 auction houses. The Diablo auction house. Actually, Blizzard's behind all the big ones, right? World of Warcraft has the auction house that was really like bloodthirsty and crazy.
11 had an auction house, but I mean 11 was,
11.
Was copying, obviously.
Yeah.
Remember when 14 Vanilla came out, like it didn't have an auction house, and that was one of the big things people hated. But again, the auction houses in those games where you were trading in-game money,
in-game currency. Yeah.
Now there was a backhanded economy of people would be like, gold farming and all that, where it's like, I will pay you this amount of dollars if you trade me some in-game money. That was all backhanded. It was and they fought for. It's funny how they fought for years against gold farmers in China and Korea and all these places. For people who were selling, mining money to sell for real world dollars so that people could buy shit at auction house in game. They're like, oh no, you can't do that. That's disrupting our game. It's not how the game's meant to be played.
And then they turn around and now you can just.
Here's NFTs.
Yeah. Well, now you can turn around and just buy in-game currency and like COD points and shit like that.
They have COD bucks and stuff. Like they keep giving me COD bucks in Warzone. I have $19 in COD bucks.
You're finally gonna be able to get Bruce Willis. Finally.
Well, no, I need 5 more bucks. I need 5 more COD bucks or 500 more COD bucks, whatever.
So you'll be able to get.
I have the equivalent of $19 in real world money in COD bucks. Because they keep gifting it you. Because the idea is that they gift you a couple COD bucks so that it's like, oh, well, you don't have to spend $25. You just have to spend $15 or $10.
$7.
You've been playing and you've earned free COD bucks.
Yeah.
Isn't that great? It's all just incentive. It's all just push, 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 push. And some people have even done a thing where it's like if they play it long enough, they get enough COD bucks to buy a battle pass, or quote unquote buy, but they basically use the COD bucks they earned in game to buy the battle pass, and then they finish the battle. If they play enough, they'll finish the next battle pass, which earns them the next money to just roll it over.
Yeah, that's all I ever did.
People just roll over battle passes without actually spending any money. That's one way to go about it. That's sort of like keeping you invested in the game.
Yeah.
And that sounds great, but on the other hand, you're also not spending money. So Activision wants you to buy shit in their store. like cool, you love our game so much, you play it all the time, but you never actually spend any money.
It's like gambling in that the house eventually wins. So they just want to keep you around long enough. Because they did it to me. Like, I was around long enough that I finally saw a costume that I was like, oh, that is hilarious. I bought that bright red costume that's like neon glow-in-the-dark red with the glow-in-the-dark eyes. I bought that shit just so that I could win a Warzone with the worst possible costume to win. And I did it. I did it on the Alcatraz Island. It was beautiful.
Yeah, Blackout had an economy too, just like that. But theirs was better, but it was also a full-priced game when it came out. Mm-hmm. And if you just kept playing and winning, you just earn cases. Cases were the currency.
Yeah.
On that, and you could just buy cases, or you could just earn enough cases to buy shit in the shop.
Well, at least this isn't gambling. You just buy it.
I got so good at that game that it's just like, man, if you were good, if you were really good, you're never going to have to spend money for anything in the shop because nothing was that expensive. The most expensive shit, even I could afford the most expensive shit just by playing enough. But that's not good enough for Warzone. Warzone's a free to play game. Things got to be real fucking expensive, like actually real.
Yeah, they got to make sure somebody spends money.
You got to spend money, okay? Like, so.
Well, I think they only needed like a third of their active player base to spend money to make a major profit, right? Wasn't that
right? They made about $2 billion off Warzone, almost $2 billion off Warzone last year.
Wow.
So which is why they laid off the Q&A staff of Warzone at the end of the year.
Nice. Yeah, they were worried about not turning a profit.
I mean, the worst part was that they told them all that a raise was coming in January.
Yeah, that's how they keep you. That's how they keep you around. I was moderator for a game that kept me around by being like, "We'll give you a little bonus if you stay and train your replacements."
Mm-hmm.
Your replacements in Singapore. The most awkward conversation I've ever had, by the way, was like a bunch of the other people were like real shitty to our replacements, and this one person who was really nice, she was just like, "Oh, how come everybody's like, why are all the people training us leaving in a couple weeks?" I was like, "Because you're being hired to replace us." I almost lost the severance package because they were like, "You're not supposed to talk to them about that."
So I'm like, well, what does it matter? You're firing me anyways. Like,
I wanted that severance package though.
Oh, true. I mean, to me, I don't. Well, how hard would it be to figure that shit out? I mean, come on.
I don't know. They do it all the time, though. That's super common.
It's like because you work for peanuts, and I'm living in Southern California, so guess who they'd rather pay less of to do the same job.
Well, I mean, Singapore isn't a cheap place to live, but it's a hell of a lot cheaper than LA. Singapore's a nice place to live, though.
If you got money, sure. Anywhere's a nice, almost anywhere's a nice place to live if you got money.
Name one place that it isn't a nice place to live, even if you have money.
Antarctica.
If you have money, that shit's probably bomb.
Well, you can't live there because you have to be a scientist anyway. So,
I mean, if you have enough money, who's gonna fucking stop you?
That's probably a poor example. Siberia and some of the northernmost towns up there. It's like all the money in the world ain't gonna fucking.
There's a bunch of people who own islands in northern Alaska and live there full time.
Yeah, but they're insane. There's no quality of life up there.
You own your own fucking island. You don't have to see anybody.
You're north of Nome. You might as well fucking.
Who gives a shit? If you don't like people, that shit's heaven.
Is it? So you can freeze to death, and then a polar bear is going to come and gnaw on your ass? Like, no, that's not heaven. You're gonna struggle to like make sure you don't fucking freeze to death every night. Yeah, real fucking paradise.
You're picking places. Alaska is one of the happiest places in the country. You're picking
Not
places
Nome.
that are specifically in your fears. You're afraid of bears and you're afraid of the cold.
Yeah, there's nothing. Okay, you live in like the Balkan Sea or something. No, there's no quality of life up there. None.
I feel like enough money brings you quality of life everywhere. If you have enough money to fly a fucking rocket into space,
your quality of life will be more or less based on the quality of the rest of the people in that country, not say the best in the world. Like you got money, you can live like a king anywhere, but you're gonna live like a better king.
there are different
in
levels
other
of
places.
king. Yeah,
There's different levels of king, you know.
I'm a king. I have a working toilet.
I mean,
The
like
only
how
one in town.
like
Fair.
like what if you live off of like not Easter Island, but like a fucking tiny island off like, you know, hundreds of miles away from Easter Island. It's like, hey, I'm the king of this island. What happens if you accidentally break your ankle or something? Oh, you're fucked.
Yeah, but if you have enough money, you just have doctors that live there. You have a village. You own a village.
If the island's big enough.
I'm just saying, like, if you have enough money, anywhere's big enough.
Well, the
You can
point
make
is,
it big enough.
point is being the king. You know, you can be a king with money anywhere, but you're gonna live better in certain places than others.
And how did you make your money? Off of NFTs.
By selling this ugly ass monkey art.
On that note,
Have you seen those, by the way? Like the big controversial, like they're just, I don't know if they're monkeys or what, or chimps or something, which are apes, not monkeys, but like there's the same fucking image and they just like put different clothes on them and they're trying to sell them. Oh my god,
I don't know if it's real, but
someone Sterling they put it best where they're like, it's like Pogs but shittier.
damn
like
it!
They were like, even Pogs have better art.
If only it was like Pogs, I would. I still have my Pogs from when I was a kid.
I do too.
I don't know if this is real, but it's a good thing to end on. Somebody approached Banksy about making some of his art into NFTs, and his only reply to the business email, the whole pitch and presentation was "fuck you."
That sounds like Banksy.
Yeah,
I mean, if you were proposing something like that to Banksy, you had to basically
you had to be ready.
You had to be ready for like his reply to basically. I mean, he's probably just going to say "fuck you," but whatever. It's my job. I gotta make this presentation, try to sell it.
All right. As always, we've got some patrons to thank. As always, if you're interested in becoming a patron at any level, please check out patreon.com/YoVideogames podcast. Dude of the week was Aquilifer, cool Roman Legion standard. And our producers for this episode are The Arnett, Scrunami, Top 35, Hyperviper 89, Hockey Kong 64, Ziggy Z, Online Persona, and Miles XVS. Thank you, dudes, and we will catch you next time.
Later, dudes.